welcome to Global Government News. Today is Wednesday, May 16th, 2012, and I'm Darko. May 16th, just 2 days away from the 38th G8 summit. So many of you are probably already aware that this summit was supposed to take place in the same location as the NATO summit, but they separated them at the last second. This 38th G8 summit, which is basically about the rigged fascist, international fascist economy, is going to be what? Well, when you go down here, the new location will be, inaccessible to the sheeple, to the public. So how convenient is that? I think that's very important too when it comes down to it, to as far as protesters and non-violence, basically activism, I guess, if you believe that. But the thing is what? Is that it comes down to the economy, and a lot of people will get into the economy, looking into that, the philosophy of economics and the philosophy of statism and all that. And it comes down to what? It comes down to the economy, which is, some people talk about anarcho-capitalism. Well, they won't actually want to use that term like Ron Paul or something, because then they'll be called anarchists, and anarchists, well, they're violent people who don't believe in God. At least that's what we're told, right? So, voting with your dollar or voting with whatever you have to trade with or barter with, that's the real power. And so, voting does absolutely nothing. So they, and to me personally, I've done protesting and stuff like that, and if you want to do it, that's great and everything, but I really don't think it accomplishes anything in the long run. Even just I think it's just, but I guess the way to put it is, it does, I guess, if it builds awareness to sheeple to see that there is actually a police state beating people and tear gassing. So in that sense, that's what I'm saying. I respect what you do, because you bring what they're doing to light. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do. We're trying to change people's perception about what's really going on. So this whole thing with the NATO summit is what? Is that a bunch of people that basically can't really change anything. You're not going to change the political policy, how many people you're going to kill, what country you're going to go into and invade and steal their resources. So you can't do that politically, but what you can do is vote with your money, with your dollars and stuff like that. And that's more powerful. And they know that. So they're going to let you bang your pots and pans and ward off the evil demon spirits at this NATO summit. And they're going to demonstrate the police state. Trust me, it's going to be out there. Most of you are already aware. And they want you to see it. They want you to get scared that there's going to be snipers dangling from helicopters, possibly. And they're going to be shutting down cities, frisking everybody. So I guess just let them do what they're going to do. People will show all kinds of crazy footage of people getting beaten up, protesters and stuff like that, and getting snatched and grabbed off the street. So this NATO Summit Chicago 2012 is on May 20th, and 21st. So probably just a coincidence. But this is the same day that a supposed Ring of Fire eclipse from China to U.S. is to be visible on May 20th. So these guys are paganists or Luciferians. I'm not saying for paganist you're Luciferian, but whatever religion these people practice or entities these people worship, they do things with numbers and stuff like that. And 38 is what? You add them together, it's 11, which is one is a beginning, double one is a double new beginning. So they do things for a reason. So Greece on brink of collapse, says Europe's financial crisis launched into a perilous new phase as dire predictions emerge of a collapse in Greece's economy. Well, those are the people that were going to be collapsing it. So it says here, with a run on its banks, bringing an inevitable end to its membership of the Euro. So it goes in there to say, as leaders in Athens accepted a need for new general election and the end of a national stalemate. So they're going to try to use politics and the voting system, the political system, to fix this. Well, what they're going to get is a far-right, almost Nazi party. Now, that's probably what they're going to want to happen to begin with, because let's not forget that this whole environment in Germany that existed in the 30s and that was created, was manufactured, just like all the high unemployment that was created in the United States as a result of the Federal Reserve. Well, the unemployment rate went down during World War II, didn't it? When all those people left the country, then the unemployment rate went down in Germany too. What did that create? Created the atmosphere, the environment for far-right parties and stuff like that. So this is everything that's happening right now is by design. So it says here, global markets plummet. And this is the thing. This is the irony, isn't it, guys? Because I've reported on this before in Greece about them bartering with gum and working around this system with bartering and stuff like that. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the power of, basically voting with your dollar or whatever you have to barter with instead of using the political system. But the Greeks, they're not going to get that. Global markets plummet on Greece political turmoil. So just kind of a follow-up. And then we have Eurozone shocked by 0% economic growth. So the 17-nation Eurozone grows 0% in quarter as Germany remains the only large economy to post expansion. Even the Netherlands economy shrinks 0.2%, signaling no quick recovery for the Euro area. Prepare for riots and Euro collapse, Foreign Office warns. So this is why I said this is expected, because I've actually remember including this article in a report last November 2011. So the British embassies in the Eurozone have been told to draw up plans to help British expats or expatriates through the collapse of the single currency amid new fears for Italy and Spain. Italy was just downgraded today. I'm not going to include that in today's report, but they were downgraded, Italy. It says here, the bank run in Greece will soon be followed by bank runs in other European nations. And there's all these covert bank runs too, which is, oh, I can't withdraw money from my ATM. It's an online glitch. Those are bank runs or bank holidays as well. They have little ways of doing it without actually calling it a bank run. Remember this, Club of Rome, perspectives on limits to growth, challenges to building a sustainable planet. So this is all part of the plan too. You have a bunch of unemployed people, they become useless eaters. Well, you have to do something with those useless eaters. And well, they have to go away. So moving on here, we have, says here on March 21st, they celebrate the 40th anniversary of the launching of the Limits to Growth. That's talking about just the common man actually having a standard of living, unlike the thousands of years where your ancestors and my ancestors have been living as peasants and serfs for these same global bloodlines. But it goes on here, and the Club of Rome had a symposium entitled what? The Perspectives on Limits to Growth. See, there's limits to growth. Challenges to building a sustainable planet, and that's of course population control. So this was the 40th anniversary of this book, but basically it goes back to 1972, and basically it goes on and says 40 years later, the planet continues to face many of these same economic and social environmental challenges that were caused by the same group that's proposing it. So that's right, they're talking about using global warming as a way to basically control the planet in the name of climate change, and that will fund their global government. I've actually covered this article by article just recently. So, but yeah, it's scary scenarios to scare the crap out of people. So the human race has pushed the Earth. So now who's going to push back for the Earth? Well, the experts, the elites, the bloodlines. It says here, as our planet will look like in 40 years, a report for Research Network Club of Rome, a research network. That's funny, isn't it, dude? Is characterized in 2052 an outlook for a gloomy picture. Well, they want a gloomy picture, right? They want a planet with not that many people that can challenge and rise up against these spineless bastards is what they are. But the other spineless bastards are the people that don't talk about this stuff, so it kind of goes both ways, I guess. The biggest example, of course, I'm sure many of you are aware of, is the aerosol spraying or weather modification, terraforming, geoengineering. There's many terms, but it's basically what I think are drone planes that are spraying on a global scale. And this is something that's never discussed, never talked about, and God only knows what it's doing to the planet. I mean, I've already covered this before as far as the Welsbach cloud seeding patent that's been taken out, and all these researchers and people like him and the people that he represent, these think tanks and that, or research networks, calling on doing this stuff in the name of combating global warming because of greenhouse gases. Well, they're creating a greenhouse gas effect when they spray these aerosols and they're heating up the planet. And now they're going to say, oh, well, this is climate change, now you got to pay us. Oh yeah, and by the way, this money will be going to fund our global government. So, and that's what they decided, the Club of Rome. It's for a better world order, or better world government, which is why nationalism has been replaced by what? Internationalism.
Nationalism is, in my opinion, a disease. And it's one of the most important problems because that disease is very different from being patriotic and believing in a country, welcome to do that. But the world is going to change, and we see already just the number of countries increasing. Typically, a country is the wrong size. Not all of them, but a lot of them are the wrong size. They're too big to be local, and they're too small to be global. And that's part of the reason you see a growing number, not a shrinking number. Nationalism starting to disappear as an organizing element. Now, I say this, and yet we look at the United States right now, and it's getting more sort of polarized. You look at parts of the Middle East that are getting more polarized. But I, as an optimist, a self-declared optimist, think that that is going to change. And I look at the activities that are happening in Egypt, Tunis, and even Libya. I see these as part of the consequence of being digital, and very much part of looking from the bottom up as well as the top down.
So there you go, folks. That's the type of stuff that they're putting out there, and it's kind of interesting that he said from the top down or from the bottom up, right? Those examples of Egypt, those were all coming from intelligence agencies, color revolutions, orchestrated by Soros foundations, the same type douchebags. So it didn't come from the bottom up, it came from the top down. And those polarizations he's talking about are people with common sense and a little bit of morals that are fighting this global government. Those are the people that are speaking out. Those are the, quote, terrorists, the resistors. So speaking of nationalism, I think, honestly, that the whole Nazism was created by the Zionists. Zionism, Nazism. It says here, and that was to what? To get all of their opposing Jews out of Europe. And that's what Hitler's job was. So it says here, New Hampshire lawmaker ejected for making Nazi salute. So I thought he was actually a Nazi, but no. He was saying what? He was responding to the actions of tyrannical House Speaker, whom he felt restricted Democratic lawmakers' remarks during a debate on voter identification. And he did what? Seize Heil, gave a Nazi salute. So, and that's when state police were ordered to remove the politician from the session. So, speaking of like eugenics and nationalism and sustainability and what we're going to do, I came across this article. Researchers Japan will have no kids under age 15 by 3011. So remember, this is the group that actually has the longest lifespan. It says here, by indicating it in figures, I want people to think about the problem of the falling birth rate with a sense of urgency. You see it said, I think it's from the health ministry. But another country during World War II, the Axis powers were what? Germany. Falling German birth rate dispels baby miracle myth. And it goes down here, and it actually shows what? The declining birth rate chart. So the article goes on and says that, but Germany was slow to react to this. Now they're actually paying people to have children. Because of what? Oh, because of their Nazi past. So this is all Hitler's idea about this population and eugenics. No, actually, he got it from the United States. He got it from the elites, his employers. This is where he got it from. Didn't stem from him, didn't stem from Germany. He got it from how the United States was doing things like giving smallpox to the Native Americans and sterilizing them and stuff like that. So they had to feel bad about actually doing something proactive. But these experts, like the one that said nationalism is dead, like John Gillibrand of the UK-based Population Matters, advises his students to never use the term population control. So you have to accept this austerity. That's why it's the biggest word in 2010. Or is it poverty, austerity, or mass poverty? Probably the same thing. So as unemployment hits a 16-year high in the UK and they're not going to see any growth in the near future, Britons are told to work harder and stop complaining. Like the Americans, who are more optimistic about the economy looking up. And as economic suicides are up, scientists are to build a city where no one will live.